Merry Christmas to everybody and their mama. It's been an amazing year, and I want to say thanks to everybody for your support. It has been amazing. And I learned a lot. I overcame a lot. It's just been amazing. It's an amazing year. It probably has been the best year of my life. And I said the same thing about last year, right? Go ahead.
So my question is, like, what exactly are God's commandments for us to keep, and how do you stay on track? Because I seem to, be doing good for a week or two,
right? And
I'm going with the river, and then one little slip up, and everything's gone.
Everything is gone?
Well, it seemed like, like the character building and stuff, it seemed like I'm right back to square one.
And what make it seem that way?
Because the one slip up, I'll just keep doing that over and over again, and I'm not going with the river anymore.
Oh, I see. So let me just use that example. So, like, let's say you're riding along, and for a month, and then one day you ride by a marijuana field plant.
All right.
And then and then you stop and you roll up the marijuana, and while rolling it, you're saying, I'm not going to smoke it. Then you end up smoking it, and then you say, darn, everything's done, I've fallen back.
Exactly.
That's a good example?
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, one of them.
Nothing has changed except your mind. Because the moment you do that, the enemy, the deceiver, tells you, oh man, now you've sinned again, or you've fallen back into your old habits. And the moment you believe that, you no longer can believe the truth, and so believing into that lie starts to take you down, because you don't have the truth to hold you up. But if you didn't believe what it told you or tell you, then you would be fine.
Okay.
You would. As a matter of fact, you have more strength to resist the pot next time than you're going to have once you overreacted to smoking it.
Okay, and well, it's more like, what do I have to do to please God, and how do I stay on track with that?
What do I have to do to please God? That's such a good question. You're a Christian, right?
Yes.
And you please God. You're pleasing to God.
Maybe.
And how do you do that?
Well, live in the moment and stop blaming myself.
Oh, okay. Interesting. And does that work?
It does.
Okay.
Because I had something happen the other day, and instead of talking about it and to everybody around, I just saw it and I just said, well, that's it.
Okay.
And so then I didn't think about it anymore and dwell on it anymore, and it went away.
Yeah, I totally love this question. This is a nice Christmas question right here. If you were walking down the road and you ran into Jesus, he said, what do I have to do to please God? You would say, what would you say as a man of God?
I would say,
what do I do? What do I have to do to please God? Isn't that like a great question?
it is.
And you would say,
Well, basically, stop trying to please him, because it seems like when you're focused on that and not on just living, then there's so many, rules and sins by which you can fall. You're going to, when you do one of them, it's going to be like you have overreacted and I've thrown out the baby with the bathwater. I haven't advanced an inch, and it was just an illusion, and I am the same man, and you're going to be caught up in a quagmire.
okay,
Just off of one thing.
amazing.
So it's best just to not judge that situation or believe the thoughts that want you to judge it.
Interesting. Sir, what do I have to do to please God?
You need to let go of the world.
You need to let go of the world. Okay. Would that help if you said that?
That helps a little bit, but I know God has commandments for us to follow, and
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure if it's just those 10 commandments or is there more to it, because
Okay.
I kind of feel like it's easy not to lie and not to steal.
Okay. What you need to do to please God is to always have faith, never doubt. When you don't have faith, you can't please God. Always have faith. For example, when we talked earlier about if you have a step backward, don't doubt. Just don't get into the lie, because when you believe your imagination, when you believe what Satan is telling you about yourself, you're doubting the truth and believing a lie. So just don't ever doubt, and that's pleasing to God. Without faith, it's impossible to please God. Isn't that something? Without faith, it's impossible. And you can tell if you have faith or not by your overreaction to a situation. Because when situations come, men and women of faith do not overreact. They stay still within and they overcome that situation. Because it happened, the situation is happening so that you can see your relationship with God. And if you overreact, it implies that you don't have a relationship with Him. You don't believe in Him. With faith, you never overreact. You don't go with the lie, and you overcome all things. Just never doubt. And that's what Satan is always trying to get you to do. That's why he's always talking to you, because he wants you to hear his voice instead of the voiceless voice from God. So he keeps you busy with his words. And so whatever happens, never doubt, meaning that when Satan comes to tempt you, don't doubt. Let it all pass and then work miracles in your life. And then when you have that, you're going to keep his commandments, because his greatest commandment is that we should love one another, even love our enemies. And so when you have that commandment, it's that love of God that's working through you that's going to cause you to love your fellow man, cause you to overcome all things, allow you to see, and just going to build a good life for you. So you just need that love, his love working through you, and the rest of the commandment you will keep. And then you'll overcome your bad habits. Smoking pot is not a sin. Smoking cigarettes is not a sin. The sin is playing God when you judge yourself or your fellow man. When you have an opinion about people, places, and things. That's the sin, because you're playing God. But the old habits that we have, we pick those up as a result of overreacting to the world. When we resent our parents, and once we resent our parents, we fall away from God. And then we start picking up other things to make us feel better. We start smoking, sexing, lying, cheating, stealing, gossiping, doubt, and fear, because we're falling away from God. And so once you come back to Him, then those habits start to fall away. But Satan will tell you that those are sins. And some Christians will tell you that too, because that's what they've been told. And if you think you're sinning, you're going to hate yourself for sinning. Those are not sin. Those are things that you use to identify with the world because you have fallen away from God. The sin is to hate. 99.999, not all, but 99.9% of people have anger, and all people with anger are of their father the devil, and they are constantly reaching out to the world for salvation. Like me, make me feel better, love me, comfort me, give me this, give me that, because they have that anger and they don't understand that anger is not of God, it's of your father the devil. And when you're of your father the devil, you're of the world. You got to have people, places, and things to make you feel better. That makes sense? So never doubt. So whatever it is that you think you're falling away from or you keep getting back into, God forbid, but let's say you do it again. Don't judge yourself for it. Don't have an opinion about it being right or wrong. Don't overreact to it. Then eventually you lose the desire for it. It'll just pass away.
Yeah, it's more like I was like, what was it, yesterday or the day before? I had nothing to do, and it's raining, it's cold, and I was like, man, how can I please God right now? Because I felt like I was just doing nothing, you know?
Doing nothing?
Yeah.
What do you mean, like doing? What do
Like,
you
I just had nothing to do. I was just chilling.
And you don't think God wants you to chill?
I do, but I felt like, you know, I was just seeking, you know, I was looking for what can I do now.
Your best moments with God are those moments when you have nothing to do. Really, not when you're busy, but when you're quiet and you have nothing to do. And then Satan come and tell you that, oh, look at you, you're nothing. Nobody love you. You don't love anybody. You're not worth a dime. Because you're in the present with God now, and you can feel your ego at work, and it feels like nothing. But if you could just be still and ride through that, that's where you can grow. And don't hate what you see about. We're all nothing. Really, nobody's worth a dime. The heart is wicked, and as soon as you can accept that you're nothing, the sooner you can become one with the Father. Isn't that something?
That's something.
So look for those moments when you have nothing to do and don't find anything to do. I remember before I understood this, I would be by myself and I would just have anxiety of not, I should be doing something. I feel like nothing. And I would call people that I don't like because you make long distance calls and you call mama and you don't even want to talk to mama. And then you get on the phone, you realize later it was a waste of a call. But you're looking for, the ego is looking for something to identify with. And so that's a good thing to be alone, have those quiet moments.
All right.
All right?
Thank you.
That's a good question, man. How are you doing, sir?
I'm all right.
Good to see you.
You as well.
Merry Christmas.
To you too.
So how's married life?
Not so good.
And why not? You're laughing at his pain.
Oh, I'm not hurting.
Yeah, I know. I can tell. And why not? And the reason I'm asking because he was married to an older woman, right?
Yeah, well, last time we were here, I kind of got conscious of where I was, and I was being kind of a baby, whatnot.
Yeah.
And try to pull away from that, but I just feel like she kept dragging me down because that's what she needed. That's what she wanted to have a baby. She wanted to baby me.
She looking for a son, and you were looking for a mama.
Yeah. And then I didn't need a mama no more, but she still needed a son.
Right.
It's kind of like antagonizing things to try to bring me down, to try to make me frustrated every day. And then I just leave. I go to work, She texts, oh, you're abandoning me and you're a bad husband and this and that. I'm like, leave me alone. And then she just started freaking out more and more and more and more. And I just kind of got to the point where we're just not really talking right now.
How many years different? How many years is he older than you?
8.
8 years older?
Yeah.
That's a shame, boy.
Okay, yeah.
It's hard enough being involved with a woman your age or younger is hell being the one that's older.
Yeah.
Because it will become a mother and son relationship.
Yeah, and I think after she heard it all and we came here, it kind of awakened that in her.
Yes.
So the little devil inside of her is like, you're supposed to keep me a secret.
Yeah.
It just started freaking out. And I'm like, whoa.
Well, I knew once you came to this meeting and heard the truth, it wasn't going to be the same anymore.
Yeah.
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 It would start because now you have some insight, and that insight guides you. You start to notice things that you had not noticed before.
Yeah, I was acting embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing.
It's and I understand too when you say it's embarrassing. It's like when I think of some of the things I did before waking up, I can't believe it. It's just mind blowing. But at the time, it seemed fine.
Yeah.
But when you look back on it, I should have been ashamed of myself.
Yeah, it's unnatural. It even felt unnatural. That's why you get,
Yeah.
get anxious sometimes and stuff.
Well, I'm glad you don't have children.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah, don't make her baby. I got a call from a man that I'm counseling with, and he said, I'm counseling with this guy. And so I gave him a call the other day just to check up, see how you were doing. And he said, oh, Jesse, I have to call you back. And I said, okay. He said, I'm talking to my wife right now. I said, okay. And he called me back a few minutes later, and he said that his wife wanted to leave him. She wanted to separate or break up because he doesn't pay her enough attention. He doesn't cater to her emotions. And because he doesn't cater to her emotions, she feels that he doesn't love her. And she wants someone that can hold her, cater to her emotions. And he said his father told him, you should do that, son. You should hold her and cater to her emotions. He's like, I can't do that. And then she started sleeping on the couch, you know, because that's what they do. Mm-hmm. When they want to control you, they sleep on the couch. And he said that, so I asked, I said, well, what are you going to do? He said, well, I told her, I'm providing for you. We have a baby together. I make sure I take care of the home and everything is fine. That's all I can do. And I said, so is she going to leave? He said, well, I think so. And if she does, I'll just move too and get my own place. And I say that to say the worst thing that a man can do, the worst thing, is cater to his wife's emotions. He should help her overcome that because that's a fallen state. You know, she thinks that by you catering to that, it's going to make her better, and it won't. And it'll also weaken you as a husband as well.
And it makes her resent as well. You know?
Can you, right, because women hate weak men.
Yep.
Can you imagine Christ catering to our emotions?
Nuh-uh.
And we have to act like him. We are Christ on earth, so we have to be the same way. And there's nothing worse than a weak man. Yeah, so I'm glad. Are you praying? You doing the prayer?
Absolutely.
Good, man. Yeah. Did you have your hand?
As you go through life and live day by day and allow things, each moment to unfold, is there ever a point where you are in a meditative state all the time without meditating?
Yeah, but you have to grow to it. If you stay with prayer, if you practice being aware of yourself, eventually it becomes natural. That's what God means by pray without ceasing. He wants you to always be one mind with him rather than one mind with Satan. And so you do grow to that. And I have to say grow to it because Satan is so busy, he'll make you believe that you're already doing it. And you'll find yourself saying, I'm doing it already. I got it, right? It's something that you grow into. Yes, sir.
I was reading in the old Catholic Bible, and a question was brought up, how do I please God? And then God answered, follow my commandments and love God.
But I just already told you, as long as you have faith, all those things will be in operation. Yeah, because you just can't say, follow the commandments and love God. We've all tried to do that. Just follow the commandment. But when you have faith in him, he is working through you, the Holy Spirit is working through you, then you love and you keep the commandments. Because the commandment is to love. And in that, all things are possible when you have that love. All right? I want to know, did you have your hand?
This week I had a interesting rendezvous with pain, pleasure thing. And I was angry at having the pain, and then once I kind of got out of the anger, I realized that the pain is actually more my friend than the pleasure.
Yes.
Because, pain alerts you to something that's wrong.
Yes.
Whether it's physical pain or mental pain. And I realized and then I also realized about anger that it was just another feeling like happiness and pleasure. Those are just feelings. And why would I want to hurt someone for just giving me a feeling? I don't want to hurt someone when they give me a good feeling. Why do I want to hurt them?
Right.
A feeling's a feeling.
Yeah.
Right. And you're judging one way or the other.
Yeah.
And so, I had those, and that really helped.
Good, man.
Yeah.
I've noticed, and I have been guilty of this before, a long time ago now, but I noticed that people can claim to know God, and they can tell you the truth that they learn intellectually, whether it's reading the Bible or if you hear the preacher say, stop hating your parents or something, and people go out and start quoting that. But when it comes down to the real deal, very few can do it. And very few can endure that pain, that emotional, ego pain that you get when you lose something or someone that's important to you, that you're a major God. And you know that pain that comes and then the mind get busy and you don't want to take that pain. You end up reaching back out for that thing or person or place to save you, then you're satisfied. But until you can endure that ego pain of doing without people, places, or things, you're never going to have a true relationship with God. God is not your Savior. Whatever saves you from the ego pain is your God. And God is not your God. And I know a whole lot of guys, even in this room, I've gone through this, so I can use this. I used to date a lot. And I was the kind of guy that I couldn't break up with a woman unless I had another one waiting in the wing. You know, that's the only way I could break up, especially if I was really into her. And some women know how to make you get really into them. Isn't that right, guys? Yeah. And when they take that away from you, it's like taking your soul away. It's like taking life away from you. And in the past, I have not known how to deal with that. And so what I would do is get another woman to save me from the pain that this woman is making me feel. And so, but when I woke up, I realized if I lost something or someone, I need to endure that pain because the whole situation is happening and I'm having the pain because that person is my God. And so instead of trying to get that person back, I learned to be still and be quiet and overcome that need for that person instead of trying to get it back and be satisfied. And I see a lot of guys doing that. When they break up with a woman, it's like hell. And when they try to hold back, but the mind is busy, the pain hurt, Satan is talking and talking, then you get the woman back and you feel better. And you're like, wow, I got Jesus. I know the scriptures, right? But that woman has saved you. Same thing with women that break up with bad guys. If you trip out, then the tripping out is a sign that something is wrong with you and this relationship you have. And you're not supposed to try to get that relationship back if you're having pain from it. You're supposed to be still and know God so he will become your God. I was at the barbershop, and this Hispanic guy was telling me that we were talking about that a man should never, never, ever, ever, never have sex out of wedlock. Never. Because what it does, it addicts you. You become addicted to the person. And it becomes very emotional. And then when that relationship is gone, you want to die. You have no peace, right? And this Hispanic guy said, yeah, you're right. I tried this with the last girl I was dating. And he said that I can see already it's going to be some problem. So I decided I'm not going to have sex in case we break up. And they broke up. And he said for the first time in his life, he was able to walk away unaffected, and she was too. They weren't crazy about, they didn't fight each other. They didn't run after each other. They saw that the relationship was not going to work. It wasn't meant to be. So nobody was damaged from breaking up. But once you have sex, you will be damaged, especially if someone you're really into. And I know a lot of the guys don't want to hear it, but I recommend you stay away from it until you get married. And the woman too, get to know the person without the addiction. And I don't care what you say, every time you have sex, you become addicted. Emotionally, mentally, and everything. And that person become your God. And you find yourself do anything to get them back. Accept anything, make up all kinds of excuses. And then you feel like you're free, but you're not free. You just got back into the same mess, and the situation's going to come again. And when it comes again, it's going to be even worse. Isn't that something? Uh-huh. Oh, this is Christmas service. This is why Christ came, so that we could be free. Isn't that something? Let's talk about Christ for a minute. Who know Jesus? Nobody. No one is raising their hands. Wow, one guy running out. So all these Christians and nobody know Jesus?
Okay, yes, I know Jesus.
Why you didn't raise your hand?
I guess I just didn't want to brag. And then maybe if I answer a question wrong, I'd be exposed.
There are no wrong and right answers. We are fellowshipping. We are lifting up and edifying one another. So don't let Satan tell you there's a wrong answer.
All
This
right.
is not a classroom. This is a fellowship. I mean, you don't get an A for this, or a B, or a C, or a D. You don't fail.
We self-grade.
Right. What Satan is doing it to you.
Yes.
And so, what's your impression of Jesus?
A really, really tough guy. I mean, a really tough guy. When you were mentioning about being able to handle pain, that is the beginning and end. That's the alpha and omega of life.
It's amazing to me that we could be Christians, and when something of the world is taken away from us, we don't want to endure pain. And yet we think that we're Christian. That's mind-blowing. How do you be a child of God, a man or woman, and his purpose is to help you overcome the world, to be in it but not of it, to take it or leave it. And yet, when it's time to overcome by way of pain, we resist it. Isn't that like something else?
It is. After Jesus finished his 40 days and 40 nights of praying, he went through some severe pain with the devil tempting him.
Yes.
With the kingdoms of the world and
Yeah.
all those other things he tempted him with. And that was pretty severe. I don't think not too many other men would have, resisted that. And then all the disrespect he resisted, all that pain that caused through the time,
Yeah.
and his less than
Why did he go through all that like that?
to show us what we could go through.
Yeah.
Yeah, partly,
Somewhat.
I guess. That's
Yeah.
as deep as I can get.
Okay. He went through it so that we can overcome it, because prior to that, we would not have been able to overcome. So he went through it for us. And that's why it should be easy for us to overcome it if you had an understanding of how to overcome it and realize that you need to overcome it. You know what I mean? Yes, sir.
How does that work, that he went through it so that we can?
A long time ago, we had the conversation, I think in my office or on the radio show. A long time ago, there was this guy named Adam, and Adam was the son of God, and Adam had this voiceless voice relationship with his father. They spoke without words. In the revelation, he knew his father's thoughts because they had the same mind. Father and son relationship. And then God gave Adam this woman so that they could have some babies, right? And so this woman had one mind with Adam. She knew her husband's will because he knew his father's will, and it's passed down that way. And then the serpent came along, the deceiver that tells you, oh, you're a bad guy. And the deceiver said to to Eve, you know what, you don't need to listen to this guy. He is just trying to control you. He is like ISIS. He's a Muslim. Don't pay him any mind. And Eve said, oh, okay, that's right. He is trying to control me. And so once she believed that lie, she turned away from her husband. And now she has the identity and the mindset of her father, the devil. And her father, the devil, spoke to her with words. She can now hear voices that she did not hear before. She can hear her own voice because the devil can imitate whomever can get you to do what he wants you to do. And then Eve was like, wow, I got to go and deceive my husband because Satan told her to do it. Because Satan could not get to Adam. Satan could not turn the Father away from the Son. So he had to go get a woman to do it for him. And so Eve went and said to Adam, don't listen to your father. He's just trying to control you. Be your own man. Why are you listening to him? I want a man. I don't want some guy that's listening to his father. And Adam said, oh, okay, that sounds good. And so Adam believed Eve, and now he fell away from the voice and knowing his father. He could no longer hear his father's voice. He got this stuff going on in his head. Now he hears the voice of Satan, just like Eve. So now he's subject to the world. And then we all suffer for it, right? And then after the world fall apart, people go crazy, and before everybody totally destroy themselves, God told his son, Christ, hey, you know what, Jesus? I need you to do me a favor. Go down there and put everything back in order. Go down there, endure for these people, bring some light into the world, make a way, conquer death so that they don't have to die, and make a way so they can return to me, to the Father. And that's what Jesus came and did. He conquered all things, put everything back in order the way it was before Adam listened to Eve, who listened to the Father. And he gave us a way to return back to the Father. And that's what salvation is all about, a return to the Father. And that's what Jesus did. He endured everything. And so it's easy for us to return to the Father if we stop listening to the voice of the devil. If we stop playing God, we can return. And it's easier for us because of Christ. And once you return, you're going to see that he is your brother. Everything he owns, you own it. Everything that God gave him, we have it. The voice of God, we can recognize it once we're truly born again of God. He said, my children shall know me by my voice. But those who listen to the voice of the devil don't know the voice of God. Now, if you're seeking him, you've had a little taste of it off and on. You know, you get some revelation about something. That's the voice of God. And you want to, if you stay in prayer, you listen to that voice all the time and not the voice of the devil. But you got to be born again. You must return to the Father. You must overcome evil. And that's what Christ did for us. He loved us enough to endure all things, even take away death. Because prior to that, Adam wasn't dying. And we don't have to die now. And so that's what he did for us. And when you learn to love your father, your earthly father, then you can love God. I'm telling you, you would see him, you would know him as your father and not as God. And the father is the order, is the head anyway. So if you respect your earthly father, you're naturally going to respect God as your father. Same kind of love. That's what it's all about. But you got to drop your anger. You must forgive. You got to forgive your parents first. You got to be able to look at yourself and endure and don't reach out to the world for anything. If you're paining for the world, don't reach out to it. If you're looking for comfort in other people, don't reach out for it. If you're looking for association and all that mess, don't reach out for it. Can I say mess up here? Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm telling you, you're making a horrible mistake. If you're not going to endure the pain and overcome, just let Satan be your father and go party it up. Stop pretending. Any questions?
You know how you go to those churches and people are like, you got a relationship with Jesus? And you're like, whoa. You know, and they all they talk about was like how they have a relationship with
when they
Jesus.
do you like that, say no, leave me alone.
I was like, yeah, sure.
Stop scaring me.
Yeah, no, I was at this church and the guy creeped up behind me when they were doing the altar call. And he's like, you got a relationship with Jesus? I'm like, whoa. I was like, yeah. He's like, all right, I'm just checking. I'm like, whoa. But that's very confusing because I even asked the pastor, he's like, Jesus, according to the Bible, Jesus was God and everyone talks about how they got a relationship with Jesus, but it doesn't really make any sense. Like, how do you, like, what's that relation? Because they don't go in detail of that relationship, you know what I mean? They just say, oh, I got a relationship with Jesus, but what's that look like?
Are you asking me that?
Yeah, like what, you know, but I don't know.
What does it look like to have a relationship with Jesus?
Yeah.
Right? That's the question.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's a good question. Salvation is difficult, but yet it's easy. It's so simple that most people are missing it. Salvation starts when you are ready to let your anger go. When you realize, I have anger, and I'm wrong for having this anger. In that very moment, you get to start paying attention to what's going on inside of you, and that's when you can, all this other stuff, begin to fall away. But that's what it's all about. And Jesus will help us when you're going through those difficult moments, when you have this pain from a loss, whatever it is, people, places, or things. If it becomes so great, you can say, Jesus, help me through this. He's with you. He's in there, and he's waiting for you to just ask for the help, rather than trying to get the loss back, what it is, whatever it is you're losing. Rather than trying to get that back, ask Jesus to help you through the pain, and he will. He's your brother. He loves you. He's with you. You have God, the Holy Spirit, and Jesus. And Jesus is our brother. And I know most brothers and sisters don't treat each other right anyway, so you don't know what that relationship is like. But he's there for you at all times. He really is. It's just so, I was thinking this morning how parents create children in their image. The children become just like the parents. And you can't fake it. Whatever you are, your kids will become that way too. And I was thinking, I went to Nashville, Tennessee for Thanksgiving to visit my godson and his family. And this particular godson is 15 years old, and he is amazing in that he's mature, he reads a lot, you can sit with him and have a conversation. He doesn't mind working, he loves working. I said, are you going to college when you graduate from high school? He's like, no, I'm starting my own business. I don't need to go to college. And he's just so mature. He doesn't have a cell phone, so he's not into all this phone thing. And I'm thinking his parents are like that too, so he's becoming like his parents. And then I know other parents whose children are into the cell phone, video games, and they spoil their kids. They buy them everything, and when you look at the parent, you'll see that the children look just like the parents. The parents have failed in life, and they have created the children in the same image. Well, likewise, when we turn away from all that, turn back to Christ, we become like him too. You start to see a new image emerge from us rather than the image of our parents. And that's important too. It will change. You will become like your brother, Jesus Christ, and like your Father God. You take on his identity. But you got to return to him. You got to stop faking it. You got to take the pain. And it's hard to take the pain if you're not ready, because Satan get busy. He'll make you make up all kind of excuses, blame somebody else, look at them, and you find yourself back in the situation. But if you just endure, and because the pain is there because you're wrong. If you're right, you don't have pain. You're only having the pain because you have done something wrong. And so now the situation is causing you to get over that pain, to watch that. God is reaching out to you. He's trying to help you. But you got to endure. Don't go back to the drugs. Like you're trying not to smoke or do marijuana or whatever, and the pain is so great, or drink wine or whatever it might be. And Satan's like, one more glass. And then you try to hold off, and then he's like, no, just one more. It's not going to hurt you. One more, it's Christmas. Or you have a nice meal. You ever had a nice meal and you say, I'm not going to drink wine, right? and you have a nice meal because you want to stop drinking wine. And you have this great meal, and you're trying to eat this meal without wine. And Satan is like, oh, take a little bit. Just eat a little glass. Don't get the cup. Get the little small glass and just have it. And so you're like, okay. And you go and get the small glass of wine, you fill it up, but you fill it up 10 times. And by the time the meal is over, you're as drunk as you're going to be with the big glass. Isn't that true? Yeah. Isn't that something? Yeah. We got to stop listening to that voice. We got to take the pain, eat the meal, and it'll turn out better than what you think. Isn't that right? Uh-huh. How many can relate to what I'm saying? I relate. Oh, yeah. Well, same thing with anything. If you're in a bad relationship and the thing is over, let it go. Take the pain. Don't drink the relationship. Or if you're worried about money, let it go. Don't drink the money. Don't drink the worry. Let it go and things will open up for you. It really will. You're worried about friendship. Let it go. Don't go out and make false friendships. Whatever it is that Satan is trying to get you to focus on, let it go. Then you grow, and he'll put people in your life that is better than a friend that you will ever find on your own. They'll come. He loves us. He'll take care of us. But you got to let go and let God. That make sense? Uh-huh. So Marcus, before we end here, how you doing?
Well, I'm still, I'm looking at every day, and all day, I'm always looking for that pain, that rises up. So it's a good day. I mean, when I can, I go into situations, and sometimes I feel like I feel like an emotion or something rise up, and then I look at it. Okay, I'm looking at it to see where it's, where that's coming from, but I know that it's not good. I mean, I know that it's something that I got to see. It's something, it's telling me, it's showing me something. So that's a good day for me. Every day that I can do that.
You staying with the prayer?
Yeah.
Okay. Good, man.
So every day I can do that, that's a good day.
Yeah, are you still moving to wherever?
Yeah, that's the plan. So.
Yeah. Moving
even that,
too.
Was causing me some, like I started really thinking about it, and like all of a sudden I'm like putting my will in that, and I already said I'm going to do this, now I got to do this, and I start seeing that, then I started like
That's
things
right.
aren't working out quite the way already, that I would hope, and then all of a sudden I'm starting to like, I can feel like something like anxious or fear, like I'm not going to be able to do this, just. Yeah. Like I say, it's a good day when I can, I can feel that rising up in me.
But it's also a good day when you can't see that. And see, that's why I say, as human beings, we're not supposed to have an opinion about anything. We can't judge right or wrong, because the moment you judge it as right or wrong, you become addicted to whatever you judge. If you say this is wrong, now you find yourself getting more into it. If you say this is right, you find yourself getting into that too. But if you just let things happen without an opinion, you don't get into either one. And God will show you right from wrong, because we don't know right. We don't know anything, folks. We are as dumb as a doorknob. We are idiots. Remember we had a discussion about being an idiot? Were you here for that, Kent?
I remember that conversation.
Oh, yeah. Were you here, Marcus?
Yeah.
Oh, so you know. Who was not here? Forrest, you were not here. Are you an idiot?
Pretty much, yeah.
You are? What does that mean to be an idiot?
I don't know anything.
You don't know anything.
No, I'm stupid.
Well, Kelly, that explains everything there. Huh? Yeah, we're idiots. And that's okay, because what it says is that we realize of ourselves we can do nothing, and of ourselves we know nothing. And that's when we can let God guide us. All right? This is G's daddy. Isn't that something? Don't they look alike? And G's little brother daddy. These are his two sons. They look just alike. You glad you came?
Yes, I am. And I told him I was going to come for,
Good.
for Christmas.
Is this
and
helpful today?
It is. And actually, I see a lot of change on him,
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
And especially in this one here, he's
The young
kind
one.
of, yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and he told me many times, like, hey, man, he was like a light, open up bright. And
Yeah.
he changed him a lot because he's hard to change, you know, he's hardcore.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
He's a player.
he is.
A
Yeah.
player gonna play.
And
play.
I was
And a hater gotta hate.
and I can see that he's kind of happy right now.
Yeah.
You know, so
Good,
it's
man.
pretty good.
So what is it like to see your sons changing for the good?
It's awesome, man.
Yeah.
It's awesome because I've been waiting for that day, you know, because it's a lot of problems in the family that you don't know how to solve.
Right.
You know, and you just go through those problems and you don't know. You just don't know, you know.
Right,
And
that's
then I
right.
see that they're taking the problem on their own.
Yeah.
And they're coming back to me with good stuff. And like, yes.
That's
you
right.
know, and then I see that he's not blaming me for everything no more, you know. And there's things that I try to say my way to them.
Right.
But sometimes it's hard for them to get because I'm their father, you know. They don't want to listen to me.
Right. Especially
But
when they're angry.
Exactly.
If they're angry at you.
So there's a lot of changes, a
Yeah,
lot of
that's
changes.
good,
And
man.
change for good, good changes, you know.
There's nothing like seeing your sons and daughters change
Mm-hmm.
from the anger. They start showing love and honesty. There's nothing more rewarding than that,
Mhm.
to see that happen.
Absolutely.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you came.
Thank you.
All right.
I appreciate
And
it.
tell your girlfriend the same thing. I'm glad she came.
Oh,
Oh, okay. Right on. So here's what I suggest. First of all, Merry Christmas again. And I want to encourage you all that if you're serious about this thing, no pain, no gain. You got to give up something in order to receive it. If you're unwilling to give up the world, and when I say give it up, it should happen naturally, not you forcing it to happen. Don't say, well, I'm not going to go in the world, you know. As you seek the Father in His right way, it'll be added to you. So, but if you're unwilling to give up people, places, and things, then you're never going to know real life. You're never going to have love. You're never going to have perfect peace. You're never going to be free. You can't serve two masters. And so if you're not willing to give it up, just keep doing what you're doing until you're ready. Hopefully you'll survive and you can let the world go. And once you let it go, you're going to have a life that's amazing. One that you can't even imagine. Your mind cannot conceive it, what God has in store for you. It's a total different life. All right? So I hope and pray that you get serious about it. Endure. Endure, endure, endure. Because you're having the pain, because you're out of order. Something wrong with you. It doesn't mean that you know, it's the other person. It's you.